show up today. But first and foremost, Anthony and I and Julie and Chow too, I mean, we just want to say thank you so much for your support this past year. I know it's been difficult for some of us, and our classes haven't run. And then for others, they have been successful, and we've had to learn a bunch of new tips or new tricks. Some of us had to learn Zoom for the first time. Some of us had to recreate our classes. And we just really appreciate you sticking around and being flexible as we kind of are moving now towards a place where I think we're going to be able to get together again soon. So speaking of that, we were on a call later today, and as far as ACC, or earlier today, as far as ACC's expectations are, should nothing change, fingers crossed, right? We're only seeing positive in the recent weeks, but we do anticipate that summer is going to look a lot like fall. I think the staff is going to start going back in the summer and kind of reconnecting and getting our bearings. But as far as students go, they are going to keep that limited until the fall semester. So what I'm going to encourage and anticipate is that we all kind of stick with this Zoom format for the summer semester, unless the class is very specific to needing some campus access. And we can talk about that if you feel maybe your class needs to be in person and we need to make an exception for that. But we really want to come back strong, and we want to come back healthy, and we want our students to feel safe and comfortable. So I think if we kind of hold off until September after the Labor Day holiday, hopefully those who have chosen to get vaccinated have done so. We're seeing people feel more comfortable kind of out and about, and then we can gather again in person. I want to talk a little bit about some trends that we're seeing and how that kind of impacts some of our decision making and kind of the operations in the office, and how we might feel like we want to structure our classes going forward. So one thing, and I think you guys all can see this if you've had some of your classes, and this has been a trend for a while, we're seeing more and more classes, or more and more people registering for their classes later and later. I think we all, as adults, have a lot of things going on, and maybe we're not willing to make that commitment the day the schedule goes out. So we're looking at it and we're thinking about it, but we might not pull the trigger until maybe the day before class or the week before class. And so we've been kind of strategically making decisions a little bit later and later. And we try to do that in a timely fashion so that we can let you know, hey, your class is going to run, or hey, your students, or, you know, so we can tell the students that the class is going to run or not. But we also want to be mindful that with this trend, we may have to continue to make decisions even later, like 24 to 48 hours prior to class, unless there's something in your class specifically that we need to know maybe a week in advance because we have to order some materials in or something like that. I think if you are all okay with that, and what I encourage is that we let the students be who they are. They're going to register late. We'll start getting those numbers in early. But if we're waiting for that 1 or 2 students, that you give us a little grace and allow us to make those decisions a little bit later. Go ahead, Candace.
So if our classes meet the minimum prior to the 24 to 48 hours, then can you let us know?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're monitoring enrollments all the time, and generally, even if there's like 4, we might say, hey, can you give us maybe 1 more day? Because we've made the mistake before where we've canceled classes, and then the day of class, we get that 1 or 2 people that would have made the class run. So we just want to make sure that we're allowing you to teach when possible, but we're also being mindful of people's schedules. And we're always monitoring, and we're going to show you something I think is kind of neat in our new registration system that might help everybody else kind of keep an eye on their enrollment.
Good, thank you.
Talk about that. Yep. Some things as we continue with this virtual platform is we're seeing some more so contractors. They're offering their class at more than 1 schools at the same time. And there's been some question about how we feel about that, and I love it. If we can have enrollments in the class, I think that's going to be the best thing. I want you all to be teaching. I want all of our students to be able to take the class. And if that means that our students are sitting in the same virtual classroom as maybe students from Pikes Peak Community College or, you know, some other organization that you might teach with, I personally am okay with that. Of course, you might want to talk to, you know, everybody else that you're involved with, but that's kind of been something. Some people say, oh, we're having Zoom fatigue. I don't want to register for classes anymore, but we still generally have that 1, 2, 3 people who are interested in the class. And if we can come together to make that class run, I'm willing to work with you to make that happen. With our new registration system that many of you have heard us talking about, we have the ability to update our website on the fly and schedule classes further out. While Anthony is going to cover that portion of our registration system, I'm going to give you some really exciting news. We can now schedule your classes anytime and have them up on the web. So we don't need to wait until any specific day. If you know you want to teach a class in 5 months, let's go ahead and get it up on the calendar. We are seeing a lot more traction to our website, and we're trying to play around with social media a lot more, sharing posts and trying to get some of your information and then sharing that, maybe your blog post or maybe I know I've shared a couple of Greg's, and Pam, I've shared some of your artwork, and Kim, I shared a couple of some videos. So if you have social media pages, follow us, share with us, we'll help you promote your classes. But the more we can get your classes scheduled on the website, the better off we're going to be able to promote those and get them in front of people. And then the last thing that I have as far as trends is remote on-time classes. So that's where you would be at ACC and you would be teaching a class to students, but you would also be in a classroom where students can join you via Zoom. And I know that won't work for all classes. Maybe Candace, that might be a little bit more of a challenge for an art class, but perhaps like Greg or maybe Judy, that's always a little bit tricky, or Pam, that would work really well for you guys. There are more classrooms on campus that are adding that technology, but they're still going to be a little bit harder to come by. So if you have a flexible schedule and you can work with us as far as times and dates go, we could definitely look at that option for you guys.
I'm not sure I'm understanding that option, Amber. Is it where we would physically be in a classroom at ACC and then teaching virtually from there?
It is, but in addition to that, you would have students in front of you and students on the computer as well. Both. So with art, we would probably have to play around with that and see how or if we could make that work, because some of that you're going to want them to be able to see, so we'd have to look at screen sharing or things like that. And if you wanted to explore that, we'll start working on that. Just let us know. But it won't work for all classes, right? But if that's
a lot of the school districts have already been doing that with grade school. They haven't done it with the high schools yet, but with the grade school and the elementary school, where the teachers are in class, they don't have any students with them, but they certainly could have, and then they go online and teach out that way.
Exactly. Yep. Holly?
Yes. I would like to know, so if this is also doable, like the class is in person, but often people, not feeling good or have a family event, they have to miss a class. With the once a week class, it can be very challenging because then they're falling behind, they get frustrated, or they just drop out. So in this case, could we use the device you were talking about, like for the students who are absent? So let them know ahead of time. We can do that. If they inform me, then I can turn that on. And so they probably won't get 100% for the in-person students get, but they at least know what's going on and they feel they didn't lose the class. Is that
So-
also a possibility?
If we had your class in a classroom that offered the technology, that would be a possibility. But I'm thinking that would work better for like your Chinese class, but the technology probably wouldn't be available in your Tai Chi classroom.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay,
So, but if you are interested in that, we can take a look at, you know, what's available when we do your classes.
for Mandarin Chinese,
Mhm.
is it harder to use?
I honestly don't know. We have been working home and we haven't been there to test the technology.
I see.
There are people on campus that are using it, so I know it works. But we have directions and we've seen some, you know, some people using it, so we could figure that out, and we would do that first, and then we would teach people how to do that.
Okay, so for me is if it doesn't take too much my brain power away, I will be more than happy to try. But if that will exhaust me mentally, then probably no.
I don't think it would. The school's been really trying to make the classrooms technology friendly. And we would test it out and we would, you know, train you on how to do that. So
Does that require any equipment from us?
it would all be in the classroom ready for you to go.
I see. Okay.
Nothing you'd need to purchase on your own.
Okay. So when that happens, talk to you. Okay. Thank you.
When you submit your course proposals, which
Okay.
we'll talk about later. Kim?
All right.
Yeah, just to make sure I understand. So it's like you guys have stuff set up like to broadcast live, and the other people who aren't in the room, those students, they're at home or?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So it'd be like, and I think this would actually work really great for your classes.
Oh, we
if
could-
you,
yeah,
you
we could
deal with a
absolutely.
population that may be comfortable, but also may
Yeah,
not be. So if your instructor was comfortable kind of talking to a screen, but also interacting with the students, I definitely think, especially for you guys, that's something we would look into.
Yeah, that's totally perfect. And so would they, when they register, it'd just be like they choose if they
Yeah.
want to come in or do, okay, awesome.
We'd
That's great.
probably put it up maybe even as 2 classes, but with the same dates and times, so
Sure.
you guys would know and we could separate that out on there.
Okay, no, that's amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Candace?
Just-
So when students are back on campus, will we still have the option to offer an only virtual class?
Yeah, and Anthony will cover that here shortly.
Okay.
Like I
thank
said,
you.
I don't think Zoom's ever going away. I think it will only benefit us.
Good.
So we can do more, maybe even doing one Zoom and one in person if we could get the enrollments for both.
Mhm.
You clearly have an audience now that
No.
you might want to keep. And
Mhm.
we've seen that in some of our other classes as well. And I think I told you this when I was trying to convince you to do it, but I told everybody this story because I was like, please do Zoom, I'll tell you something positive. But we actually had a mother and daughter who were able to take, I think it might have been Fazia's class actually. Thanks for joining us, Fazia. But the daughter was in New York and the mother was in Colorado, and they found such a treat to be able to take a class together and learn something together. And I think that gives us a whole new market of
Mhm.
people that we can, you know, ask to come take our classes and get different perspectives from people who are other places. And that's kind of been my theme. If you follow us on Facebook, like bring a friend, it doesn't matter how far or near they live. You know, all of my family is out of town, and I think that would just be so much fun to be able to do that with them. So
Awesome. Thank
I don't
you.
think it'll ever go away. Yeah.
Mhm. Good.
So I'm actually gonna pass it over to Anthony, and he's gonna show some cool things with the website and registration. And
Thank you. Just real quick, because we were just talking about Zoom to kind of finish that loop. Zoom definitely isn't going to go anywhere for our department in regards to teaching, especially during the summertime. It is going to be a majority of the classes will be via Zoom. And then even during fall, a good percentage of them will be via Zoom until we get to 100% back on campus. But even as we go, back on campus 100%, we can use Zoom to kind of leverage our classes a little bit, maybe offering, one-day workshops as opposed to the full commitment, or info sessions before the class to answer any questions of people who are hesitant to register and are just expressing interest right now and would like to know the whole array of classes that we offer. So that's something that we'll definitely be able to utilize and hopefully be able to kind of grow our program that way. I will be available for Zoom trainings as we move forward if you are going to be trying to utilize Zoom moving forward. We found that the Zoom anytime meetings are the best bet for your instruction because of the fact that it is something that can be recurring. You can open up your Zoom virtual classroom whenever you'd like to your students. So if you're experiencing Wi-Fi issues, you can just say, hey, I can't do it tonight. If everyone can meet tomorrow night, let's hop on. And no new link needs to be generated and sent out to those students. It's just the same one being sent out. So I'm more than happy to show people how to create those anytime meetings. And then as always, same thing with if you want training on breakout rooms, poll questions, things like that, I can definitely help out. And I know that our IT department has made a good amount of tutorials for things that even I don't know. So we're all kind of learning on the fly here, but yeah, it's definitely something that I'm very appreciative for everybody's efforts in trying to use it. So as we move to our website, Amber alluded to kind of our own website, and that was a good thing that was birthed out of 2020 was our own website that we have control over. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. And you can land on this is our landing page that we have control over. Everybody may be used to seeing just kind of our custom landing page at arapahoe.edu. Unfortunately, this page is not something that we have control over. Me and Amber actually do have a meeting coming up here shortly with our marketing department to do a revamp. And I know Greg has sent me some suggestions and other instructors have sent me some suggestions. So we'll be utilizing all of them to make this a more seamless transition for our students. But really and truly, our students should be landing on this page here to see all the classes that we offer. Going into the pages, we have the ability to kind of manipulate a little bit. So if you were to go to our youth programs, you know, we can have featured blocks. We can have just general announcements about classes. So anything that you want to be kind of sure to say about your class, we can have represented on the site. This site also allows the students to register for multiple classes, register for their other people in their family. So it doesn't have to be, it used to be we would get 5 phone calls sometimes from a whole family to register for each individual person. Now it's something group registering, very easy. You can just do it here. So this is definitely the next step to what we want. And I'm learning a lot about just general coding and website layout to try to make this a better experience for our students. The website does have a kind of another end to it, and that's the instructor end. And that's something that I wanted to show you. I'll kind of bring up an email here as a great example of what we're going to use the instructor end for. And actually, thanks to Candace French for helping us out as being kind of a test subject for this. But we are now going to have live rosters available for our instructors so that they can see who is in their class. They can check it the day before, and they can see everything in regards to contact information if they need to communicate anything to those students. We'll be sending out an email, and please provide feedback when you receive it, and we'll be able to tweak it. But essentially, it will give you your course roster link, and it'll give you your username and password. Right now, I'll just set it for first name dot last name, and the password is password, and you can change it through the site, and I'll show you that as well. But essentially, when you go to the site, we will go here. you'll be able to log in. And directly see student names, phones, and emails of your students. It'll tell you the class that you are looking at, and depending on how popular your class is, our website does have the ability to take waitlisted students. So you can see your wait list if you were thinking to yourself, maybe I should bump my class up by more students, or maybe I can have a totally different class, you know what I mean, and offer another section to accommodate the students on the wait list. So you kind of have a little more control over your enrollment that way. Now, to stress the importance of this kind of platform is we're slowly building out this platform, so you'll have more options here. We plan to have the ability for you to see your teaching contracts, to see things like just in general, your full schedule of classes. And that's actually something you can already see. So right now we're using Damien Ficca, who is our equine instructor. He's been teaching remotely throughout this entire year. And as you can see, the classes that he offered in his enrollment, all he would have to do is click view, and he'd be able to go see the classes in that specific class. That's just something that we're working on to bring to you guys, and we'll absolutely be working with you along the way to try to make it as smooth as possible when we do kind of announce that. For the sake of time, I'm going to move along here and just give a little bit of a plug for our King Supers program. We actually are a listed organization for you to choose as if you are a King Super shopper, and that actually goes to a new scholarship program that we are trying to kind of get off the ground here for our students, as we've encountered a lot of students just in general that would like to take our classes but maybe don't have the disposable cash to do so. So that's just something, a little plug for that, and then I will hand it over to Amber, and actually both of us, all of us, for a little focus group session that we're going to have.
So there is a lot of exciting things happening behind the scenes, and thank you, Anthony. I know that was really brief. Part of why we wanted to gather here today is for this next part that we're going to do, but we also wanted to provide an overview and kind of our direction going forward. So thanks for hanging in there. I know a lot of that went really fast, but we do plan to have some more trainings like this and offer more of these types of get-togethers for us, and hopefully in person too, right? So what we would like to do is take some time to discuss how we can promote our programs and how we can better assist you and the kinds of things that we can offer you. We definitely would love to promote some open conversation, but if you are uncomfortable answering the questions, please send us an email or use the chat feature if you just don't want to speak on video. That's, however you want to get information to us, that's great, but I do hope that we can have some open dialogue today. So first, I wanted to ask you guys if you have any ideas or anything that you do to promote classes for you and for us to do together, separately but together. How can we promote classes? Does anybody have any ideas? Or is there something you already do that kind of gets some enrollments from your promotions?
I'll go, Amber. I do a newsletter to my online community that goes out about 10 times a year. And I list Arapahoe Community College and do the link directly to either the arts and humanities in general or specific classes that I have coming up. And then, of course, whenever I teach, I always talk about what's coming up in the future.
Awesome.
You can go next. Let's see, I have a list of people who have been in my classes before, so I will send that out and let them know there's another course coming. I also will send just friends who I know might be interested or have friends of friends. I'll send emails around. I'll put it on my Facebook page as well. And another thing that I've done is, and gotten a little bit of interest, is using Nextdoor as an individual as opposed to an organization. You know, I'll say, I'm doing this class and it would be fun to have other people join us, you know, that sort of thing.
Awesome. Holly?
Yeah, I in general promote my class and in our program to other classes I teach. So sometimes I do get a good positive result by doing that. I doing that on the ongoing basis. And the other thing I do is same as what Pam said. I diligently always send out the emails to check on and to encourage and to explain what I will be teaching, say in 3 months. And I think what Anthony just offered us, we able to see how many students online who registered. That's a great help for me at least, because sometimes I feel I'm troubling people because they already registered, but I don't know they registered. So I will ask them again. They don't get upset with me, but I got upset with me, which I knew now this problem can be avoided. So not sounds like being so pushing. And my other thing I have been doing is it's always like a everyday thing. Whenever I have an opportunity, start from a small talk. I will lead to what I'm doing, what I'm teaching, and then describe a little bit, tell them when will be the next class, and then I collect that information if it's like a class just started, and that's going to be in 2-3 months. So I will have a list of notes for the people show the interest in. Then when the class is in the catalog, then I will send out, reach out to those people. So I will continue to do that if I don't find any new ways.
Yeah. No, those are all great ways. Thank you. I know to Greg and Kim and Jeff, you guys do blog posts and videos and stuff on your social media pages on your websites. If you guys, and all of you, if when you do those social media posts, or if you have blogs that you've written or videos that you think would benefit our community, if you tag us in those, I would love to share more of what you do. And if that leads them directly to you, that's great as well. So it's just something to think about as you are making those posts. We'd love to share your content as well if you think it'd be relevant for us to do so.
Yeah, I was actually just going to say that, Amber, is that videos are a great way if you can keep them like under 2 minutes of just, hey, this is what I'm going to be teaching you. I think that gets people excited.
Yeah, so that actually, Victoria, I think you unmuted, so you have something to say, but with can we come back to you in 1 minute? Because with what Greg said, we did want to take an opportunity to show you a video that one of our instructors did create for their class. I don't know that I would be able to create a video like that, but some of you probably have skills that I don't have, or other skills in your back pocket, or people that could help. But Anthony is going to play just a really short comical video that we did share this time. It has sound, but I can't hear it. So that was just kind of a fun video that someone put together. And as an office, we're looking at ways that we can also make videos for all of our classes and our programs. So just know thank you, Greg, that's something that we're looking into. We want to include every program when we're making those on our end. But if you have fun things that you come up with, please feel free to share with us. Did you have something, Victoria, to share?
Not really.
I know that Victoria does actually take out ads in the newspaper herself to promote her classes. And she also creates flyers and brings them to multiple markets. So you do a lot of self-promotion for your classes, and we've always definitely appreciated that for your classes. Holly, did you have something?
Yeah, I have a question for Anthony. Anthony, is this possible that you could give us either some simple steps or a link, what you just shared the screen for us the first time? How to check the enrollment and the stuff. I tried to take some notes, but I wasn't quick enough. And the writing is on my screen is very small, and I was reach out to find the magnifier glasses to see. So that would be very helpful if you could.
Absolutely, yeah. I will be sending an email after this to everybody with the recording, and we'll absolutely put some information about what I talked about. And so sorry for it being so quick. And if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to me, and I can absolutely kind of do one-on-one training as well. But I will absolutely send you an email here.
Thank you.
The last question I want to ask, and we have to be quick because Anthony has one more thing to show you. But what do you need from us to help you with your classes? Feel comfortable with technology? What kind of training would you be needing? How often do you want us to email you? How often do you want to see our faces? Like, if you could just provide a little bit of feedback on that so we can plan better for you, that would be awesome. If you don't have anything right now, please think about it, and then feel free to shoot us an email and we'll cover that as well.
I'd say as the time progresses into 2021, it would be nice to try to do one of these meetings at least once a quarter or once a semester, something to that degree.
Awesome.
I think it helps a lot to see everybody. Plus, you get to play with the technology a little bit.
Yeah.
And we've got Anthony as kind of a fallback on. We can always ask him a lot of questions.
Yeah, he's great. He's really good at doing that. We've done a lot of Google and figuring things out, and he really soaks it all in and learns it. So
it's appreciated, believe me.
All right. So last but not least, then really quick, we might go just a few minutes over, but this is. Oh, did you have something, Anthony?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to respond to some of the things that I heard about when we were talking about promotion and ask a question. Do you think your students would mind an immediate email after your class ends that says when you will be teaching your next class? Is that something that you feel like it is too much contact from us? Hey, I just finished taking a class, or that's something that they're actually looking for?
I think that email is the best way to stay in contact with people, and that it's not too much at all.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It would build on, if you have some friends, make sure you tell them about the class if you liked it or something to that effect, and maybe it could snowball just a little bit. Couldn't hurt.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no. And yeah, was doing some thinking off the class, what you guys have said. So thank you so much for that. And then also just with Candace's newsletter, we have a great art interest list. So if you wouldn't mind, I can absolutely put a plug in for your newsletter to our interest list, and kind of, just grow it that way. So we can absolutely, coordinate after.
Thank you, Anthony. That's wonderful.
So I feel like we're running out of time, so hopefully you have a few more minutes to stay with us. But the last part that we want to cover with you is course proposals. As I mentioned earlier, we can take course proposals earlier and earlier. So what I would like after we end this and you have some time this week, maybe when you're snowed in this weekend, you could do your course proposals. We have changed this to make it easier. If you have a class that you love to teach and you know it runs, and we've run it before, we have reduced the amount of effort that you need to give us that information, but we'd like to really be specific about doing it through FormStack so that we don't lose the communication and drop the ball on any end of getting your class up and running right away. Before Anthony goes into showing you, I also would love to encourage all of you. I know you're all so talented, but you're also talented in many different ways. Just because we've been teaching Microsoft Word for years and years, maybe we don't always offer the same version of Word. Do we need to change that up? Should it be a self kind of come in and let's talk about Word, or could it be, just a different version? Or maybe we don't want to do Word. Maybe we need to do Word and Excel at the same time. Or like Victoria said, let's do yoga or ESL on the grass. Or how can we change that up? So definitely think about everything. And if you're wanting to do something else with us, we'd love to do that. But we've also tried to make it really easy to continue to put in those classes that you love to teach and we know our community loves. So Anthony's gonna just take the last couple of minutes to show you how to submit your course proposals both of those ways.
Basically, we will take course proposals whenever. They'll automatically be sent to myself and Amber's inbox as soon as you submit them. We put the dates when traditionally the semester starts, so you have an idea, because we aren't going to go away from a print publication. So you can have in your head that those are the dates when typically we would send out a print publication. But we will take it for any time of the year. When you get to the course proposal, your normal stuff is just going to be about yourself, so name, address, phone. The only thing that's kind of added is going to be credentials, website, and we're going to add a bio field, and so that you can have a bio on the website. Once you have completed that, I will really quick fill this out. You can put your new course title. You can put your course description. We have a little note just reminding you to revamp those course titles and course descriptions, because people feel like they would be taking the same exact class they just took without knowing that there's so much more that you have to offer them and grow in that area. We'll now accept syllabi and course outlines. You don't have to have one if you don't already, it's a class that you already teach, no worries. But if it's a new class and it is something that we can link out on the website to give the student more information about what your class has to offer them. You'll go ahead and schedule the class. You'll put the beginning date and how many weeks the class will run. So basically it'll just recur from that beginning date, and start time, end time. Currently, we're only taking for Littleton campus, Parker campus, and virtual course. And then just keep in mind that Littleton campus this semester and summer semester will just be a little more scrutinized in terms of absolute need to be on campus. But if you feel your class has a need that can't be taught virtually, we will accept a course proposal, we'll review it, and we do have classes that are running just based on the fact that they can't be taught virtual. General information about, supplies, books. Do you need a computer room? This is an open area. You can put anything that you want regarding your class that you'd like us to know about. Let's do really quick. Just so we can move on. They won't let me move on without filling this out. All right. The last one is if you want to offer multiple sessions. So if you already know more dates out in the future. For instance, we have a class that the schedule was determined for all of 2021. You can submit it out as far as you want. So you just hit yes, one more or two more or three more, and you can schedule out your new sessions, and then you'll go ahead and submit form and we'll get all of that. Same thing with the website. We are still building that course proposal out. So we're going to have a video in the front end to kind of give you a little more information about what we're looking for. And then just in general, it will greatly help our data entry for our new website. The way that the data is set up on the form stack, we can just easily click and drag and upload it. So it'll be super efficient. So that's why we really want to stress the importance of the course proposal for classes moving forward. Yes.
Do we still have a paper catalog?
Yeah, so we are going to still do the paper catalog. We actually had a meeting about that today. We had our paper catalog for the spring semester go out top of the February, so probably late January, early February. We are currently running a very reduced version of our print schedule just because we kind of are under a cost reduction phase for our marketing right now. But as we get into adult ed fall, we've already talked about going back to our full print schedule. So no need to worry there about any loss of just general marketing.
If you haven't seen it, we have modernized it. So it is pretty awesome.
Nice.
We'll continue with this kind of format, but an extended version. So it's more magazine style instead of newspaper. And I think that's
nice.
That's really awesome for our department. Like that was a huge step. Yay. Are there any other questions that you guys have? I think you've provided us with amazing feedback and we're so happy that we've had this opportunity to kind of gather. But again, if you have things that come up after this or that you think about, or if you're not here and you're watching this as a recording, we want to continue to have open dialogue with you guys. And we want to continue to be able to do these kinds of things more often with you. So,
do you still send out emails to remind us to offer the class information out?
I am not going to be sending out emails for calls for proposals anymore because you can go on and you can do it anytime. That being said, what I do hope is that we can either provide, first, if you're on Facebook, I did create a WCP instructor group. So feel free to join that. Due to lack of participation, I haven't been that active on it. But if more people join and we can make that a community spot, that's one place where we can get information. If you think you'd like to receive additional information, so maybe quarterly an email and then quarterly a meetup or something like that, we could be happy to do that. And in there we can remind you to look at your schedules, but I won't actively be doing a call for proposals anymore because we can do them whenever we want and we can have them up on the web so far in advance, which we haven't been able to do before.
So Anthony would also send us the link for doing that?
Yeah.
Yes, I will send you the link to doing that. And then really quick, I could show you, sorry to take up more of your time, but this will be super quick. So here on the school's landing page, and we'll be sure to add it to our general landing page, you have, and I'll make it bigger here, over to, oh, too big. Over to the side, you have a link that's Workforce and Community Programs Instructors. If you click on that link, it will take you to where you can provide your course outline, and that links directly to the form stack. So we'll be good to go, and if you don't have the link, you'll know where to find it. But of course, I'll also send it into that email. And just in general, to piggyback off another comment I heard, we have been talking about doing these types of meetings more frequently. So just, expect more communication from us going forward about these types of things.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you have anything that you want to add or say around to chat about, please do. And if not, feel free to leave. And if you think of anything or you need anything down the road, please feel free to email us. Anthony are going to continue to keep an active discussion about how we can keep these meaningful and often. So we'll be seeing you again soon, or we'll talk to you soon. And we're thankful that you came today. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yep, thank you.
Anthony,
Thank
do you want
you.
to stop recording?
Amber, could I stay for one more?